Hello again. It is, of course, Devlin again. I've been consuming a lot of these headlines these days, and as a result, have found so much material to work with. But today's diatribe is important. I am addressing the birth rate epidemic amongst the United States population with some equivalency to help us see the problem's root and why this is happening from someone who actively participates in polite society and the ongoing dialogue of biological perpetuation of our species. First and foremost, we have to see what the problem is. Ah, yes, the Western woman. Let us define this creature. You have a grown female with the accountability of a child, permanently stuck in the toddler mentality where everything is mine. The bag, male obedience, everyone's money, all things are mine, and they are of the attitude that it is owed to them for no other reason than they have the XX chromosome. This is sheer sexism at the very definition of the word. The very moment they say things like the future is female, or I am the table, or I deserve more, or even what have you done for me lately, or I am a stunning and brave queen who slays and boss bitch this and yada yada yada. If I had an editor, I would request a picture of a sassy little toddler girl trying to say this in that teasing brat voice, because this is now what a Western female is. They complain when they have it all. They cheat on good men because they are bored. They take apart families because they just don't really care about anything but themselves. They have a higher infant kill count than the Reich reportedly genocided the Jewish people. They take everything they can like a bunch of terminally, morally bankrupted raiders. They claim supremacy over men. They vote to subjugate men and make themselves first amongst equals. They are natural communist dictators. They raise weak men and complain about all men using these men they ruined as an example. They are violent. They are irrational. They cannot hold a conversation for 10 minutes without talking about themselves. They dress like whores and complain when men look at them. They behave like prostitutes and gain validation from this lifestyle that mentally stunts them from any pair bonding. They are fake, from their makeup cake faces to their long eyelashes, to their hair, to their artificial asses and lips, to the breast that they have implanted all the way down to their core. They are superficial, and where there should be a human soul is only an unfillable void of want and hunger. They cause strife and drama because they want entertainment like their little soap operas. They love to henpick men because the men they supposedly love, mind you, because that's the only way they can get brave to do that. Because they think they possess men. They own men. It is not a union. It is, he is my man. They are the type of plague upon this world that will get worse and worse because they are so mentally limited they cannot see when enough is enough. As every woman is a sociopathic, social climbing base animal working on only a lizard-brained mentality. Well, maybe not every one of them. The few and far between need to be protected. We have to define these base creatures as untrustworthy and utterly vile and cantankerous. But what is worse is how they take children's, and through beatings and Stockholm Syndrome, they warp these kids into their weirdo minions and perpetuate this ridiculous notion of a women are always right BS. And likely a plague they are, it spreads, it's incentivized. You see, through this freakishly myopic way of self-serving, greedy lifestyle, they produce weak men, of whom they will allow to fight for their stupidity and die for it as well. They look down on their sons and brothers and fathers as mere servants and slaves, and truly believe themselves utterly justified with being the largest equation of the problem in society today. Because they are orchestrators of the decline of mankind as a whole. The weak males they produce beat women because they have been harped at by mothers so much and browbeaten physically by her into a rage, into a state. They lash out violently and emotionally like their mothers do because they've seen it happen and are victims of these Fefails to the utter degree of being nearly female themselves due to the mother chasing the man out of the house and home and the child's life. And this is coming from someone who was raised by a single mother in his early years. Thank God my stepdad came along. I miss you, Dad. A woman will stay with a man for validation even when he abuses her kids, rapes her sons and daughters, and beats her because deep down inside these Fefails, they are freakish, vile, masochistic scum. Sadistic, anything. They equate abuse with love because it's the only thing that makes them feel. There's nothing behind these women's eyes. They cannot feel love past their superficial wants and self-serving attitudes of wanton, lecherous stupidity. They are no longer here with us men. They are against us. And spawn more beta males as foot soldiers to the cause of female supremacy. As they try to take the world men have made from us and destroy it out of jealousy and envy of the strength of men. Women chase men everywhere they can. Nothing is safe from these Fefails injecting themselves and their idiotic superficiality into it. Art, music, video games, movies, literature, everything they push themselves onto becomes about them alone and the experience of woman in these situations. They simply cannot conceive of anything beyond themselves, not unlike an animal. At this point, you'd think me a misogynist, and that's completely fine. If it means that one of the aforementioned unnecessary bullshit is in my life, then yes. I'm a proud misogynist and pray every day that no demonic, all-consuming creature ends up in my life just to ruin it out of spite that she doesn't get to beat and berate me into a henpecked and cowed state, because she is in all actuality just an insecure, impotent scumbag looking for a pet penis to get money from and push around. Because eventually she will call the cops on me to get her way, because she will know that she cannot sway or make me hers the way she wants to fix me. I am fixed. I am complete. I'm a man. If you are with a woman, do yourself a favor and open your eyes. Everything they do is about pushing themselves. Either by being territorial over the house, by taking over the decor of everything, shoving you into the most undesirable place in the house you paid for to be your little lame man cave, that one room you get to have. Or you can watch as you walk around in the kitchen and she reflexively goes there with you to make sure you are doing things right. Sniffing your ass the whole time as she complains about anything you leave behind in the sink or leave out the moment you start eating whatever you prepared. Or even if you try to fix them food, how many complaints they'll have to put you in your place, which will eventually snowball into you not being allowed to fix things for yourself or even load the dishwasher without her supervision. It's all about supremacy with these ridiculous, painted up, fake clowns 24/7. They have no off switch because they can envy and be jealous at all hours and overindulge in their pointlessly inconsequential emotions that they are addicted to like a drug of melodrama. It's all about territory and being perceived as a shot-caller boss bitch, self-aggrandizing goddess that they all think they are, yet have nothing to prove this other than men haven't yet put these freakishly greedy and self-serving Fefails out into the cold winter, where those who are unfit to survive with humanity are destined to go. To the streets, where they can yowl and be in heat, torquing and getting groped by the freakishly stunted men they created in their constant need to conjure drama for attention. The thing is about all this is it is incentivized by the leftist Democrat woke parties and communistic services that allow them to subside in this way. They'll live any way they can on easy mode and have a telltale lack of self-respect that is visible from the moon to anyone who can actually see. And I bet even a blind person can see this, and even a deaf man can hear it. This is all going to come to a fever pitch soon. I present you in this idea, the Arab countries. There was this uprising of the reportedly inbred, envious, and freakish sorts that caused untold amounts of damage and cultural rot in that area of the world. Masses of unwashed sub-even beta males attacking, raping, pillaging, burning, killing down the world around them because they are too retarded by their origins to see how to live a life of normality. The way humanity is literally designed to live, a man and a woman, not a harem of first cousins and sisters to one freakish creep of a man because he is self-appointed royalty like that loser who played Joker. What was he? He sang in the rock band. I don't care about him. He looks like his mother drank alcohol while he was a baby. You see, this produced hundreds of thousands of mentally deranged and delusional freaks that caused a wave of chaos that Iran and other Arab states still haven't recovered from today and still participate in. Women and their weak offspring did this, and that's why Sharia law exists there. Now, I do not agree with Sharia law myself and would destroy it wherever I found it, but at the same time I can see why they do this to women. They are naturally just an erosive cultural acid, choosing to try and usurp any attention and validate themselves, destroying anything that interferes with her steady stream of being noticed, targeting men and trying to dominate them, and if they cannot, they will call the cops and pretend to be utterly beaten and cry fake crocodile tears to make sure the police beat you into submission and throw you out of your own house and take your kids away and your money and your life and your car and your job. They are and always will be the enemy of society worth living in. They are the source of all this usury and theft-based taxation. This system that ruins family, that's them. All of your money taken mostly goes to military state and females' stupid life choices that they never seem to learn from, or refuse to learn from because they believe they're above such mortal concerns. You see, Fefails, you owe them money. They think you owe them your soul. They think you owe them everything you've earned through merit. And they earn it merely by existing and will never stop striving to separate you from everything that makes you a man. They don't understand men because they cannot and choose to they don't think they have to. They cannot love for the same reason. They can approximate just enough humanity to manipulate us into thinking they are worthy of respect, only to explode us the moment they feel safe to plunge a knife into our backs, just to say that they did and take everything they can to get their greedy little rodent hands on. They rate men by how much they can take from us and nothing more. And once they find these men to use like a tapeworm in their intestines, they will then allow any weak beta male to run them through on the side just for the thrill of cheating because they think they are owed it. The world of usury and violence is to sate her need for blood due to her being too impotent to fight for this thirst herself, as well as cowardly and the physically inept kind of aspect of the female physiology. And honestly, I have to thank God that these females are weak like this, or they would be far worse and utterly animalistic if they could match men physically. But it's all about domination for them. And honestly, when you look at the dictators and see how fat and misshapen they are, and all their talking points, you begin to realize they are exactly like a woman. Insecure, easily driven to violence and murder on a whim, Untrusting because they know they themselves are untrustworthy.
Here we are.
These dictators are gluttonously greedy, unwilling to fight for themselves, and would rather throw men and soldiers at their own fake problems. They resort to cowardly manipulation and assassinations to get their way, even when killing their so-called allies. Dictators use starvation, sickness, to control humans because they themselves are too physically inept to do anything about freedom, without a bunch of their weak beta male jackbooting their will upon others. Well, that was a short taxi ride, wasn't it? Let's go to the airport. Now, I don't believe that all females are like this, but I think far too many of them are. They've grown so accustomed to just using.
We've sent a car. Should be with you soon.
That it feels like an insanity pre-programmed into every one of them. To the airport.
Okay, where are we going?
Hey, didn't I get you before? Whatever.
Easy.
Nearly everything you see in this world that is hellaciously wrong and is being driven to fever pitch. Just have a look around in these videos at who's screeching the loudest, who is like accelerant on every problem they push themselves into. Because they'll inject themselves if they think something's happening just to get that drama fix. Just look to see who is the most hateful and spiteful. They spit in your face. They tell you that you aren't a man without ever having met an actual man or even knowing you. They dictate everything they can to compensate for their lack of self-control and discipline. They are lazy and selfish and are the root of most evils that ruin Western civilization today. They turn their sons into monsters who kill and rape and steal, and their daughters into disgusting, whorish harpies. And they feel nothing about it, because in order to understand just how much of a traitor they are to the entire human race, one would need a human soul to feel the empathy to conceptualize such a complex thought. And we all know who has eyes to see and ears to hear, and even fingers to feel the braille. That Western woman is weaponized against the advanced culture that men made. Not these Fefails, men. We have crafted all of this adaptation and civilization to pull our species out of the mud and mist of being victimized by biology and nature. And here, women are being base animalistic creatures because they didn't make it or can't take credit. Like, solely. If they can't solely take credit for something, then it never happened, and it's oppression to them. So they hate it and want it destroyed. Never turn your back on mama's four-walled womb. Never trust the whims of a creature that can dream up a problem and hold you accountable for an imagined scenario where she felt slighted. Never let her dominate you. Never let her dictate. Leave her behind in the squalor. Let her taste the lack of inhibition and fall into oblivion of her internal greed and superficial lifestyle, on into obscurity that scum like her deserves. Free yourself, men, brothers, family. Free yourself from this chaos and bedlam and abuse. I have yet to see one worth the trouble. I have yet to see one earn her place anywhere. I have yet to see one validate the reasons for her wanton whorishness. They are not our allies. They are just stray animals looking for their next dupe, their next sucker. You guys take care of yourself. We will, as men, bring this world forth into prosperity. With or without these pedantic women. And it will likely have to be in spite of them, due to how they've continually placed themselves at odds with us. For little to no reason, really, due to their self-serving need to be considered over all things. Cut off all ties to Fefails and skanks and skaggs and all these negative women. Ignore their need for attention. Ignore their screeching covens of coon hat wearing freaks who walk around naked like pride parades in public without any decency or tact, like canines and roving the streets. Disabuse yourself of the wolf mother who would gladly eat her kin and children to live but one more day in her selfish world of myopic, consuming freakishness. Down with the cultural vandals. Down with the wolf mother. Down with the beta males massing against real men. Down with your impossible, ever-changing, ever-widening expectations. See you guys later. And look after each other out there. Because nobody but us will.